I would say maybe when I was 9 years old when I first fought. I began training with Don Chuy, and I had my first boxing match at 9 years old. It was exciting. I loved the adrenaline. I was not scared of the punches. I was actually sparring pure boys. I remember my first sparring vividly. I ended up with a bloody nose. And I was not crying. I was more upset that I got punched so much rather than because I was crying because I was in pain. So that's how it all began. Well, I began boxing when I was 8 years old. I was born and raised in Boyle Heights. I lived in the Estrada Courts project. So the Oscar de la Hoya gym was only like 3 blocks away. So my brother and I used to go to that gym. And I got into it because my brother Adan and I have always been close. So he began boxing. And since growing up, I was always a little tomboy. I'm like, oh, I want to do it too. So that's how I got into boxing.
Yeah, so some people say that you're a boxer after you get smacked and you like it, or you don't run away from that.
Yes. And the boy I was sparring back then, he was maybe 1 or 2 years older. He had more experience than me, and he was fairly young too, so we were going at it, but I ended up getting beat up. But I still went back, and I stayed consistent for about 7 years. I stopped boxing when I was about 15. And then I just went to school, I worked, and then I came back about a year or so ago.
Did you get tired of boxing at 15?
Honestly, I did. I would say I probably got bored of it. Right now, it's so different from how it was 15 years ago. As I mentioned, I began boxing when I was 8. I stopped when I was about 15. There was no girls back then, like at all. I was probably one of the few girls active in the community. There was a couple, but not as much as you see now. That there's like maybe like 5 or 6 girls in each gym. Back then, it was like maybe 1 in every 6 gyms or something. So the competition it's not the same as it is right now. So I literally fought maybe 15 fights in my amateur, which is probably nothing compared to what girls have now, but back then it was a lot. So I have 15 fights, I won them all. And out of those 15 fights, I fought 3 girls twice, so that's a total of 6 fights. So as you can see, that competition wasn't as active as it is now. So I got bored of it, just the whole training, sparring, running, and then ultimately sometimes in tournaments, I'll be ready because I was sparring, training, giving it my all, but I wouldn't end up fighting because there was no one in my weight division, and I just got bored of it eventually.
More let down, maybe disappointed?
Probably, yeah, that's what it is. And also because it was like, oh, I'm doing all of this exercise or all of this training, and yes, I'm winning the medal or the belt, but who am I really competing against with? I want to show what I got, so.
Boxing everybody thinks or sees it as a sport for men.
Yes.
How much resistance, how much did they bully you? Did they hurt you when you sparred a guy?
That's a really great question. Luckily for me, when I trained at the Oscar de la Hoya gym, my coach Don Chuy and all of my teammates back then, and even now, they're very supportive. I was never bullied. They actually encouraged me to keep pushing. They'll give me little pointers of how to improve. So I was actually, how would I say it? I didn't get bullied pretty much. I actually got support, and people thought it was cool, even not just at the gym, but even at school. Like, people thought it was cool.
Yeah, yeah, because.
But I know what you mean, because I've heard stories where people say, "Oh, why are you in boxing if you're a girl?" But luckily for me, I didn't experience that.
Yeah.
Well, back in the amateurs, we did have I wouldn't say our dressing room, but I mean, we would wait ourselves in the restroom, the girls. But compared to the guys, they had like this whole room for them. Yes, it was a little bit different. But like I mentioned, there was not a lot of girls.
Yeah.
So it was very limited space that I guess we required at the time as well.
When you left, what made you come back?
So I left for a long time. I pursued my education. I worked, have experience pretty much in every work, type of work. I actually went back about a year ago because I have gained a lot of weight, especially through the pandemic. I have gained a lot of weight. I had before the pandemic, I was doing CrossFit, just going to the gym, like a regular gym. However, like my body was so used to a certain type of, I guess, exercise that even although I was going to the gym to run, to lift weights, I was not losing weight how I wanted to. And I'm like, I just need to go back to boxing because I know boxing is a good workout. Like, that's what my body's used to. So I went back because of that to, at first, just to lose weight, to be quite honest. But then as I started, as I kept going, I realized that, oh, well, the women's boxing is booming right now. Like, I got experience. I got about 10 years under my belt. I'm not new, so I'm like, let's just see where it goes. And my coach, Don Chuy, actually encouraged me, as well as my team. Hey, let's see what we could do. You have the experience. You're not scared to get hit. Let's see what happens.
And tell us about the first time you stepped in the ring as a pro.
Oh, that was a memorable moment. I'm never gonna forget it. I hadn't fought in years, 15 years. Literally, I stopped. I went back, came back as a pro, and it was a great experience. My first professional fight was totally different. No headgear, gloves a lot lighter, but it was fun. Just the only thing that threw me off a little bit was that the girl was a southpaw, and we had not trained for that. However, we pushed through it and we came victorious. So it was
and then you had a rematch with her recently.
Yes, we did on January. We took it. I knew my performance wasn't what I wanted, so we went back to make sure that I looked better for myself because I know that my first fight wasn't as great as I should have been, but nerves took over. The second fight, I felt that I dominated it, so overall great.
So seeing how women's boxing is doing so well right now, does it get you more excited to be part of it?
Yes, it definitely does because as I mentioned, women's boxing is booming right now. I'm really happy to see all these new champs and future champs are up and coming get such a great opportunity. Hopefully someday they might get even recognized as men, but it'll be like a step-by-step process.
And being, because even though there's more women's boxing, it's still limited compared to men. So you start fighting like the championship fights way before the guys. So who's someone that you have your eyes on?
To be quite honest, I'm not too sure yet because my first fight was at 115. We're going down to 112. From right there, we might go down to 2 to 3 divisions lower. So I'm not too sure who we're gonna face up, but I'm open to anyone. Whatever opportunity rolls my way, I'm gonna take it.
Is there someone you look up to right now, a woman fighter?
Yes, there's Dora, Gabriel Dora. I love her style. We're helping each other in camp right now. I love her style. I think she has a great style. She's obviously very tall, so she knows how to use her distance, and she has power and she's aggressive. I really like her style. And also Sinise Estrada. Wow, I actually know her from the amateurs. I'm so happy for her and her dad because she's one of the people that I actually know from the amateurs that I know has made it pretty big. She's a champ, so congratulations to her. I'm really happy for her because she's one of the people that stay consistent, that I personally know that stay consistent, and I'm like, wow, she's where she's at because she was disciplined, she stayed in the game, and good for her. I'm very happy for her. Because
you have to put up with a lot of stuff to get to that point.
Definitely, especially all those years behind. Right now, the girls' boxing is booming, but staying consistent, and I'm possibly not getting fights as frequent, so, it must have been really tough.
But so do you get to spar more now with women, or do you still have to spar with guys? Well,
right now, luckily, there's more women, so we spar women more. However, if there's they're out of camp or they're on vacation, their camp has finished and they're on vacation or they're taking a mini break or whatever, I usually spar someone from my gym. So shout out to Chema, he helps me. So yeah.
And how does your family feel about you being a fighter?
My family is very happy because, as I mentioned, I began boxing a long time ago. I have about 10 years under my belt. And I stopped for a long time, so when I went back, they were very happy. They encouraged me, and lucky for me, my job is very flexible, so it's cool.
like, I'm not taking your money. And you have a lot of support, you know, like
Yes.
you have the same team, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely. I actually have the same coach since I was 8 years old. Shout out to Don Chuy. Yeah. So I started with Don Chuy. I stayed with Don Chuy, and when I came back, well, I'm doing Don Chuy. Shout out to Fundamental. They're very supportive. Shout out to Jesus and DCOM too.
Awesome.
And Trinidad. He's always running with me too. Homer Trinidad.
Do you feel that even though it's this new era, it's still more difficult? You have to work harder to prove yourself?
Yes, I do believe as a woman you do have to work harder for the simple reason that boxing is a male sport. Well, you know, it's a male sport. I'd say that majority of the fans would rather see a man fight than a woman. So as a woman, you have to prove yourself that you're there. They could be just as good as a male boxer. So yes.
The 2-minute rounds, 10 rounds maximum. They're all based on medical studies because the body of a woman is different than the body of a man.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you agree having, you know, this difference in rules?
I mean, to be quite honest, I'm like 50-50 on it. I completely agree that, you know, the 2-minute rounds are for the woman's well-being. A woman's body is not the same as a man's body, really, realistically speaking. However, if I know a couple of women boxers actually want to do 3 minutes. If they want to do them, they feel they could do it. I think they should, but I don't know. I'm like 50-50 about it, to be honest, because I get the medical, but then if they think they could do it and all, yeah, it's just I'm in the middle.
I mean, there's no question about the
medical
capabilities.
Yeah, the capabilities.
Yet everybody knows that you spar 3-minute rounds, many rounds or whatever. You have the strength, but the concern is to protect you in the in the years after your boxing.
Yes, and then usually in sparring you are wearing also heavier gloves, so heck, you're a little bit more protected than 8 ounces. So makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm in the middle.
Have you ever felt you needed that extra minute? You know, you start the round. Maybe you have a plan. And all of a sudden the bell rings when you need it a little more. Have you ever felt that?
I don't think so, because I feel that as a woman, you go in with the mentality, you know, the rounds are a lot shorter, so you have to go with the game plan. If you have to be aggressive to go inside to fight a taller opponent, you're gonna do it. So I personally wouldn't, but I'm only doing 4 rounds, so I don't know, maybe in the future I might notice it.
So growing up, who was a fighter that you looked up to? Other than, you know, I know you have Fundora, but just growing up when you were little.
Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya. I loved his style. I thought he was an amazing boxer. We used to go to his gym. He'll stop by occasionally, so yeah, he was someone I looked up to.
And now, is that something you look forward to in your career? Yes,
of course. I want to be part of that. Part of that group of holding the green belt, being a champ. Yeah, that's a dream I really want to accomplish.
And what's next for you in your career?
I'm actually going to fight on April in the same card as Omar Trinidad, so I'm excited for that. We still don't know the opponent, but it's going to be a great show.
You have a lot of support. You have a lot of fans. I've noticed at your shows.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, people seem to really like my style. I'm very grateful for all the people that come and talk to me after the fights, and whoever like shows love and support. I'm really, really, really grateful for that.
That's awesome. Well, that's gonna be a great card to be at, you know.
Yes, definitely. I'm excited for it.
I'm sure you're gonna finish up and hurry up and.
I always do. Yes, I always do. Because my last 2 fights have been under the same card as Omar Trinidad. So once I'm done fighting, I talk to my team a little bit. I rush, change, and then I go out just to make sure I'm able to cheer and not miss anything. Because I know he always gives a great show.
How you started your career working on the 360 shows? Do you like the ambiance there with Tom Loeffler shows?
Yes, big shout out to Tom Loeffler and the whole 360 crew. Mike, and Ava and Jay and Chuck, big shout out to you guys. I'm very grateful that they provided me with the opportunity to be under the 360 card. I love the atmosphere very well. They're all very welcoming. And, you know, those cards are always great to go to. The competition's pretty, I would say, it's not just one-sided. It's great. So it's a great place to fight at, and I'm very grateful that they have provided me with that opportunity.
Oh, predictions. Okay, let's do Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis.
Oh, that one's going to be great. I would say if I really have to choose, I'll go with Ryan Garcia for the simple fact that the height height makes a big difference. But if Gervonta gets inside, then who knows? But they're both great boxers, but just the height difference. I know because, well, not that I know, but as a shorter boxer, it's hard to get in, especially if the opponent knows how to move. It's a little bit tougher. So I would say Ryan Garcia.
Are most of your sparring partners taller than you in the fight?
Oh, yes. I'm 5 feet tall, so I'm very short. So most of my sparring partners are either like 5'4", or like 5'5", or when Chema helps me out, he's 5'8", 5'9". So yes, they're tall.
Okay. What about Katie Taylor and Chantel? So she's fighting her because Serrano got injured.
Oh, yes.
Injury. So Chantel was actually, I think she's our champion too. Yeah, she is. So it's two champions against each. Katie Taylor is challenging herself, just like Omar just told us, and she's going up a division to become undisputed and take Chantel's belts. So what do you think, Katie Taylor or Chantel?
I would say Katie Taylor. She's a beast. I love her style, and I was a little bummed out that it got the fight with Serrano got postponed. But hey, you know, it's only gonna make the fans be even more excited for it. So I would say Katie Taylor. Her style, it's amazing.
What about David Benavidez and Caleb Plant?
Caleb Plant. I would probably say Benavidez. I'd say him because his body frame, I don't know, in my opinion, looks a little bit bigger. And he's stronger, and not stronger, but I think he looked like he has a pop, so I would say Benavidez.
What about Clarissa Shields and Marisela Cornejo?
Clarissa Shields. She's a beast. She's a beast. She's a beast.
Oh my God. Yeah, do you ever worry about injuries like that?
To be quite honest, not really. I try to keep my guard up at all times, but if it happens, it happens. But no, I don't worry about it.
Okay, well then we look forward to seeing you April 14th, Commerce Casino, UFC Fight Pass. Where can you give a message to your fans and where they can follow you?
Yes, you can follow me at Gloria Munguilla on Instagram, and I wanted to tell all my supporters, thank you for supporting and showing all the love. I appreciate you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you guys again. See you April 14th.
And hopefully next time we have both of you here, it's because you guys became a champion.
Hopefully, and shout out to Fundamentals 19 team. We love you guys, and shout out to Jesus, DCOM, Omar Trinidad, Chema, and of course, Don Chuy.
Thank you.